Well, joining us from Berkeley, California is Elsadig Elsheikh. He's a senior researcher at the Othering and Belonging Institute at the University of California, Berkeley. Good to have you on the program with us. Are we starting to see a more heavy-handed response from security forces, and is that likely to keep protesters from coming out on the streets?
I'm not sure that will keep them out from coming to the street. The Sudanese people, it seems like they are very resilient in their massive for demonstration just under a month. That's hundreds of thousands being in the street over time. And they are not going to go back unless the return of democratic process. And their specific demand that the military junta must relinquish power and resign and to release all political prisoners and allow the legitimate civilian body with the leadership of forces and freedom on change, and the Prime Minister Hamdok to return to leading the transitional government.
We also saw a cell phone and internet service cut off. Does that do anything to curb these protests? And what is the effect of cutting off communication lines in Sudan?
Yeah, the military junta is very smart in the sense that they try to fragment the protesters. If you know that at least in a capital city, the capital city composed of three cities that are divided by 10 bridges. So by blocking the bridges and disrupt the internet and cut off the internal communication phone lines, that their hope that will be less people in the street. But unfortunately, or fortunately for our people, that they've been extremely smart on figuring out to circumvent all these hurdles to come out and to protest for democratic rules and upholding the military junta accountable for their killings and many civilians.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on the continent right now. What steps are we likely to see the international community take? And what about the African Union? It's been fairly quiet. What role can it take in trying to mediate a return to civilian rule?
I mean, that's a challenge for the situation. There is two things I would like to highlight here. One, the best way solution to end the military coup, and the second one, the international community role. So I think our people demonstrated that they have a sovereign decision, and they have self-worth, and they have an agency that they demanded exactly what they want. And for the international community, including the African Union and the US administration, have to recognize that what happened in Sudan is actually a military coup. And there is no negotiation with the military coup unless they release all political prisoners with the leadership of Prime Minister Hamdok and to start negotiation in a good faith. But in order for that to happen, I think they have to prepare the environment and the climate for that. So we cannot have a state of emergency, killing of civilian people, and etc. And also, I would like to highlight that the U.S. administration cannot just continue to release words and words. It has to follow by deed. One of the ways they can do that, they pass the legislation that in the Congress of the U.S. to identify the leader of the military coup and to actually enforcing personal sanction on those individuals.
All right, and we'll leave it there. Elsadig Elsheikh joining us from Berkeley. Thank you.